Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello, and welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going over on my Twitter, at Movies TV Mad, my Vero, at Big Mouth 1, and the extension to this channel, kind of, is my Instagram, Big Mouth 11289, and welcome to Monday's edition of the dceu Daily. I've got an exclusive for you today. It's all about the future of Superman at Warner Brothers, but mainly what J.J. Abrams' plans are for this up-and-coming Superman movie, which will be announced very, very shortly in the next few months. But first, we've got other business to deal with. We need to talk about another win for Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. This time it's a SAG award, and he made a beautiful speech about his fellow contenders, and this is what he had to say about Heath Ledger, of course, the guy who played the Joker in The Dark Knight, a brilliant Australian actor, made some wonderful films. It wasn't just his Joker performance that was wonderful, but this is what he had to say about Heath. I am standing here on the shoulders of my favourite actor, Heath Ledger. So thank you and good night. Joaquin Phoenix, Screen Actors Guild Awards. So he won Best Actor for that. Well done, Joaquin Phoenix. And a wonderful speech. As I say, he spoke about his fellow nominees beautifully. And you know what's brilliant about Joaquin Phoenix? You can tell the fame thing really isn't for him. He loves expressing himself. He loves performing. Every time he stands on a stage and does a speech, you know how uncomfortable it is for him, how difficult for him it is, and how insecure he feels doing it. But he went up there last night and made a beautiful speech. And for you people, SJWs, feminists, extreme leftists, who keep on attacking a man who's done nothing to you. He's suffered with alcoholism, mental health, and he's beat those demons, those illnesses, those afflictions. And he's performing and he's working and he's doing his best to fit into society. I suppose a little bit like his character in the Joker movie, Arthur Fleck. It just amazes me how you can hate what he did, how you can hate that movie so vitriolically that you keep on attacking him. I don't get it. But next, we are going to be talking about the future of Superman on film. And by the way, really excited for Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I love saying that. Did you see that music video trailer? It was amazing. And I'm already hearing from people, Ewan McGregor is the big draw of this movie. How ironic is that? It could end up that this girl movie this all-girl movie, and you've got Ewan McGregor, who's going to get everyone's attention and everybody's plaudits. How funny would that be? Just ironic. I love all the women who have worked on this film. I think you're all great. It's going to be a great movie. But I do like a sense of irony. Don't you? So I got this exclusive last night. I got a phone call actually from a source of mine telling me all about what's going on with the future of Superman at Warner Brothers in film. Now, of course, we know that Tyler Hoechlin has been given a full season order for his Superman and Lois Lane TV show, which is very exciting. I was told that Brandon Routh has got a massive role to play in the future of Superman on the small screen, but I wasn't told anything more than that. I'm going to fill in the blanks and say that the rumours of an HBO original Superman TV show starring Brandon Routh, maybe Kate Bosworth may return as Lois Lane. They may recast her because she may be too expensive, but Brandon Routh will definitely be back from what I'm hearing. But then I had a conversation with my source, who is a woman, right? That's all I'm going to say. And we had about a 30 to 45 minute conversation. The information she gave me didn't sound outrageous, implausible. I believe her. So, of course, as usual, get that pinch of salt, dab it down on your hands, and your mouth, and your ears, and take it all, because we have no way of establishing what she told me. So J.J. Abrams, at this moment in time, is working with Warner Brothers and Chris Terrio to develop a continuation of the first Man of Steel movie. Now, this connects very nicely with what Henry Cavill said a few months ago. He kind of said, yeah, Batman v Superman's okay, but Man of Steel, that's the film I love. That's the film I want to continue. And it looks like that's what Terrio and J.J. Abrams are going to be working on. Very interesting that Chris Terrio gets another shot at the DCEU. Great job, I thought, with Batman v Superman. He is a great writer. Very difficult with The Rise of Skywalker. There were so many elements. Nobody was going to please everyone with that film. After The Last Jedi and how it split the fandom and just really destroyed a lot of people's loves. How could you destroy people's love for Star Wars? Well done, Rian Johnson. You did it. So Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams are developing this continuation of Man of Steel. So all the elements of that film now come into play. I've been told for sure kind of what happened with, I forgot, what was the name of the thing, the skeleton that Jor-El got, and, you know, basically Cal, Clark, Superman, whatever you want to call him, literally has the cells of 1 million Kryptonians inside of him. And basically, these clones can be taken out of him, and then you've got millions of Kryptonians around the world. So that element, what did they call that? I forgot. Anyway, comment down below and remind me. I can never think about it, and I always want to talk about it. Never mind. That's what they're looking to do. So elements of that. Now, what kind of villain will J.J. Abrams be looking to bring into the sequel of Man of Steel? You will say Batman v Superman is a sequel to MOS, and it is kind of a sequel, but this is a Superman movie sequel of Man of Steel, if you like. And it's going to be very interesting what costume he wears, what kind of Clark Kent and Cal and Superman we're going to get. Is it the same as BVS? Is it more Justice League? Is it more Man of Steel? Now, what I like about Man of Steel and what they did with Cal, Clark, Superman, again, whatever you want to call him, is there was a balance. Yes, he could be very serious, he could be a bit dark, but there was also smiling. So there was a bit for everyone, even though the complaints against Man of Steel is it was too dark. The tone of Superman, really, in a way, was all over the place. He could be happy, he could be serious, he could be a bit brutal, he could be angry. This really was Superman Begins. Superman is learning. He is not the Superman we know and love yet. But in this sequel, he is already been through so much. Man of Steel, his fight with Zod, what happened in BVS, Justice League, which, like it or not, is going to be canon now. So he's been through quite a lot already. He's also met Shazam, Billy Batson as well, so that's kind of interesting. So there's a lot of things they can play with in this film. So J.J. Abrams, what I've been told is J.J. Abrams and Warner Brothers are taking this film really, really seriously. This is a film that they know they must get right. This is really important. They're taking Superman seriously at Warner Brothers now. This is why Brandon Routh's getting his own Superman show. This is why Tyler Hoechlin's getting a Superman and Lois Lane show. They want to overexpose Superman everywhere. Do you remember a few years ago when we were told they were giving Superman a break? They went back to their offices and they had a think because they were never going to sign off Superman forever. Now, we need to cover this Michael B. Jordan thing because this was announced at the time when they did tell us they were giving Superman a break from that Hollywood Reporter article. Michael B. Jordan could be a version of Superman, but he's not replacing he's not replacing Henry Cavill. He's just another version. Now, I forgot, is it Val-El? I forgot what they call his version of Superman because there is a Superman of colour version of Superman in the comics, but he's not Superman Prime, if you like. Let's just call. Now, then you have to decide in this whole DC atmosphere now, who is Superman Prime? Is it Henry Cavill? Is it Brandon Routh? Is it Tyler Hoechlin? Is it Tom Welling? He's not even Superman anymore, is he? In Crisis, he decided to give all that up. That's got to be dealt with as well. Maybe we'll even get a Smallville miniseries or something, because I think they really, really, really want to over-egg the pudding with Superman. I agree with this. I want to see Superman everywhere. And it would be a very, very ambitious thing to do. So basically, you're definitely getting a Man of Steel 2, written and directed by J.J. Abrams, co-written by Chris Terrio. That's what I'm being told. This is very exciting. Now, there's a few other details I was given. In terms of the villain, because they do want to deal with kind of all the Kryptonians who are, I suppose, I don't want to say a bunch of Kryptonians who are inside Superman. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But the Kryptonian cells that could eventually become Kryptonians, could they be the villain? Could they be the problem that Superman has to face? Just imagine that. How does he deal with millions of Kryptonians, or however many Kryptonian cells are inside him to rebirth? So it's something brilliant that Christopher Nolan and David Goyer came up with for Man of Steel, and it's something I think we all want to see dealt with. So they could just focus on that, which would be enough. But what kind of villain would suit that kind of story? I would dare to say that they should cross over the Brainiac from the Krypton TV show, who wasn't just a basic, cheap, budgeted version of Brainiac. He looked the real deal. And that's the Brainiac I want to see in the Man of Steel sequel. I think Brainiac is perfect. If this rumor is right, if my source is correct, and there's a dozen ways she could be correct, and there's a dozen ways she could be wrong. You trust people, you listen to people, and I let my fellow fans, my fellow geekverse, right, know what I know, because that's important that we share information, because that's where clarity comes from. So I think if the source is right and they are going to deal with, what is the bloody name of the thing they used? And forget it anyway. I just can't remember. It's still early here. But anyway, if they are going to use these millions of Kryptonian cells and they become Kryptonians, and then maybe Brainiac can use this situation for his advantage. Maybe he can turn them into his own personal army. Maybe he wants to collect them. There's a lot of things. I think Brainiac, I've always been a fan of bringing Metallo in. And if you've seen my pinned idea for a Superman movie, Metallo is one of the characters in my story. But you could do a self-contained, easy Metallo story, which deals with Superman's no-kill policy, a lot of things. But you could also do something massive. And I think that J.J. Abrams is a massive kind of guy. Not in size. You know what I mean. Don't start getting offended and accusing me of fat-shaming. You know what I mean. So I think there are elements of this where J.J. Abrams is going to come in and say, right, we love Man of Steel. The studio and Henry are insisting that's what we deal with. The story threads and narratives from Man of Steel. I've got a great idea. I want to deal with the millions of Kryptonian cells inside Cal. I want to bring Brainiac in. It will be a really, really good place to start. Now, do I trust J.J. Abrams to give me a great Superman movie? Yes, I do. I understand Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans who have issues with J.J., even nicknaming him Jar Jar Abrams. It's a clever nickname. It's not a very nice one. J.J., Jar Jar, get it? I actually love Jar Jar Binks. I'm one of the few people who actually laughed and loved that character. But anyway, that's me. Attack me down in the comments. Come on. I love Jar Jar Binks. I love the prequels. And by the way, the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith is one of my, not just my favourite Star Wars film, but one of my favourite films of all time. So, have it. Anyway, we're getting away from the subject. So, do I trust J.J. Abrams? Yes, implicitly. Again, I understand Star Wars and Star Trek fans where you're coming from. But we are in a different relationship with J.J. Abrams, as is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers now have an exclusive arrangement with him. He can work on DC. He can work on his Superman franchise uninterrupted, while his other people at Bad Robot can be working with Warner Brothers to develop other profits. Yes, I will be absolutely clear. Superman is my number one priority, is my character, the character that I love. I also love Batman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, and the rest of the DC characters. Green Arrow, they should all have a stage to play in. And with what Berlanti and Hamada are doing, I think that's going to happen. And I am going back to watching Arrowverse all the time. So I've got Batwoman and Supergirl to watch today. I've also got Doctor Who to watch. So I might do a combination video. Who knows? But anyway, so as I say, Berlanti and Hamada can give the stages for all these characters. But for me, from my point of view, Superman is my priority. And what I'm hearing from my sources is very, very exciting. I think it's right and proper that Henry Cavill's still Superman. I think it's right and proper they continue from Man of Steel. This is what Warner Brothers want, and this is what Henry Cavill wants. They finally agreed to give Man of Steel the self-contained sequel it deserves. So I don't know what villain. We can guess what villain. I'm saying Brainiac. That's what I want. But what do you want? Are you excited for J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio developing the next chapter of this Henry Cavill DCEU Superman movie? I am. I trust J.J. Abrams just to focus on this project, nothing else. His other people at Bad Robot can do the other stuff they want to do, but J.J. Abrams must be totally focused on the Man of Steel sequel. Then the question comes, who's doing the music? Well, you know where I am. Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL, but JJ may want Michael Giacchino to work with him. He's worked with him a lot. What do I think of Michael? Well, I've told you before, Michael Giacchino's music. Michael Giacchino's Lost soundtrack score is one of the best scores, whether it's a TV show or a film, I have ever heard. So as much as I love Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, and that's who I would want, if Michael Giacchino's scoring a Superman film, take my money now, because he's already doing the Batman. He's already involved in DC. And that, my friends, is awesome. So please comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I just want to know, are you as excited as I am that we're finally going to get a sequel to Man of Steel? Comment down below, share the channel, share the video, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily.